Well, I think it is safe to say that West Virginia fans have revenge on their mind. It's been announced that West Virginia and UNC, the Tar Heels, are going to do battle on the hardwood in Charlotte in late November. And Mountaineer fans, we still remember the Carolina Tar Heels had no business making the NCAA Tournament in 2025. We're going to talk about it here on this episode of Mountaineer Moment. Stick around.
This is the Mountaineer Moment, your source for all things West Virginia football and basketball. From pregame to postgame coverage and breaking news, we've got you covered. Let's go.
All right, welcome in everybody to another episode of Mountaineer Moment. My name's Troy, and this is episode 227 of the show, available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Whatever platform you're on, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for us, man. Help us to continue to grow this Mountaineer Moment community, man. We experience growth like we've never seen before in the month of April and the month of May, man. We're wanting to keep that thing going. So again, episode 227, we cover West Virginia football and basketball here every week, multiple times a week, and we can keep you in the know on all things happening in this program, all right? So the latest news breaking on Thursday was that the Mountaineers and the Tar Heels are going to do battle in Charlotte at the Spectrum Center as part of the Dick Vitale, the second annual Dick Vitale Invitational at the Spectrum, set for Friday, Black Friday, November 27th. And so this is one that West Virginia fans are going to have circled on their calendar. Obviously, it's a big opportunity because you're playing a major program like the UNC Tar Heels, who we're going to talk about. But for you Tar Heels fans, just so we can clear things up, the university that you're playing is not the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's not Virginia Commonwealth. It is the West Virginia University Mountaineers. So just want to clear that up for you, too. I do want to, full disclosure here, just give you a little context. I have a few friends that are UNC fans, and I'm going to take several jabs at the Tar Heels, and that's literally targeted at like those 3 or 4 individuals. So if you're a Carolina fan watching this, don't come in my comment section blowing things up. This is all in good fun. I truly do respect the North Carolina basketball program. I mean, after all, they have the second greatest basketball player of all time who came through Chapel Hill, and so we gotta respect it. All right, gotta pay tribute to that. But again, obviously, here we are in Mountaineer Moment talking about this, a game that's going to happen in 6 months, over 6 months. But it's exciting, right? Because you get another opportunity against it really is a high quality program, blue blood, and there is a little extra motivation there. Now, it's not like these two teams have a rivalry. We know over the last 20 years, West Virginia's picked up a couple bowl wins against them, against the Tar Heels on the football field, but they have not met on the hardwood. And, just 2025, right? I don't want to relive it too much. It is painful. Carolina was they were last team in the field. West Virginia was the first team out, and this was not a West Virginia-led charge to say that the Mountaineers belonged in over the Tar Heels. This was very broad. John Rothstein, Wally Zerbiak, you watch the selection show and post reaction to the tournament field being set in 2025, and West Virginia was called the greatest snub ever. And especially compared to who got in above them, it was the North Carolina Tar Heels with their less than stellar 1-12 record against Quad 1 teams. They beat, I believe, this is one you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tar Heel fans. I believe they beat one team that was in the NCAA tournament. I think it was like UCLA, and I think they were like a 7 seed. Bravo. West Virginia belonged in. And then more things come out, and who was the chairman of the NCAA selection committee? It just so happened to be the UNC athletic director. How convenient. How convenient. Bubba Cunningham. And then West Virginia fans went off. And then Carolina wins their first 4 games, and they got absolutely railed by Ole Miss. I don't know if they got beat pretty good. I don't know. Rail might be strong, and that felt good. And their quad one record obviously fell to 1-13. Anyway, that is an outside kind of motivation, and you can see if you're watching on YouTube. My first kind of point is like, who really cares? Because obviously, in the day and age that we're in, new coaches, new players, all across the board. I mean, no one was a part of that in either of these coaching staffs and programs, or certainly the head coaches, and the basketball players weren't here either. And West Virginia fans obviously care more about it than North Carolina, but they remember too. And I think West Virginia, as far as the fans are concerned, are going to use that as a little extra motivation, but they're the only ones who care. Head coach Ross Hodge does not care. These players do not care. 95% of them don't even know what transpired, in 2025 with that, going down. And so who really cares? It's a fun little narrative. It's, going to be an exciting thing. But I'm personally just excited for the game because, well, I grew up in North Carolina. And again, I know friends that are North Carolina fans, and I would love for West Virginia to beat them in their home state down in Charlotte. I know West Virginia will travel well. It's not a far trip. And even the Charlotte area has lots of West Virginia fans there, so I think they'll be well-traveled. And again, it's an opportunity to showcase what you got early on in the season with a non-conference opponent from the ACC. There's also word that West Virginia is looking to schedule another opponent in the non-conference from the ACC, and you like the sound of that. But as far as this one's concerned, I phoned a friend a little bit to keep myself updated on the Carolina Tar Heels. My friend Zach gave me a little bit of a breakdown on what they're looking like with Mike Malone, right? If you don't know, Hubert Davis let go. Mike Malone, out of nowhere, out of left field, is the head coach. And here's some of the things that my friend Zach notes on this Carolina basketball team. If you don't know, too, they got Terrence Brown, the point guard from Utah. Mountaineer fans remember, averaging about 20 points a game there. Neo Avdalis, I think I got it. Avdalis, and Jaron Stevenson. Matt Abel, my friend told me he's from NC State, a transfer, but he's doing really well at the Combine. And so we're going to see if he declares for the draft or if he's going to stay put as a Tar Heel. And then Sayan Keita from Spain. And he said that's projected to be their starting five. Brown, Avdalis, Stevenson, Abel, and Keita would be their starting five. He notes that they still need to add another shooter and another big. And it's really hard to tell this early into the game exactly what they're working with. They're looking to get another international big. But nothing as far as a commitment is concerned in that regard. It is kind of worth noting, again, with Abel, to see how well he does in the Combine. He mentions, because if he does this well, continues on to the NBA, and North Carolina's going to have a big hole to fill in that regard. He mentioned that they might not have kind of like a dog in that locker room, in the sense of like a guy who's going to be a go-to guy to take over games and that kind of thing. He said that a couple of the swing factors to note for this UNC team is going to be their shooting, what they have there, and bigs. They have a lot of guys that can shoot but have been a little unreliable or inconsistent. And then their front court is unproven because they got freshmen coming in and international players, none of which have played a minute of college basketball. I told him that's really similar to what West Virginia has with their two freshmen coming in from Bella Vista, teammates with Miles Sadler there. Carolina fans, if you don't know Miles Sadler, you better get to know him. Top recruit for West Virginia, top recruit that they've had in maybe ever. And he's a point guard, won the Chipotle Nationals just this past season, was the MVP of that tournament, and previous MVP of that tournament was Cooper Flagg. So pretty good company there. He was playing amongst the elites of the elites and was the best player on the floor game after game, and he's coming to Morgantown, and we're excited about that. But as far as bigs are concerned, West Virginia has Mo Sela, who played in the ACC at Georgia Tech. but only 3 games into ACC play did he have his season cut short due to injury. So, this is going to be a fun game, fun matchup for a variety of different reasons. And, it really is. As far as, swinging this thing back to West Virginia's perspective, it is an opportunity to showcase what you have. This is year 2 with Ross Hodge, and vibes are really, really high right now based on what you've been able to do via the transfer portal and on the recruiting trail out of high school. West Virginia landed in 24/7 Sports final, recruiting rankings at the number 10 spot based on what they've brought in via the portal and out of high school. Carolina is also in that list at number 8. And so Mike Malone's off to quick work with the Tar Heels as well. We are going to have an episode, Mountaineer fans, coming up real soon after this one, episode 228. We'll talk about in greater detail about West Virginia recruiting and what they've been able to do. We've talked about all those pieces that have come in, but collectively, what that ranking really means, does it really matter that much that they're in the top 10? It is a good sign, but it's only going to be you can take at face value until they get on the court. So we'll talk about that in the next episode. You can check that one out. But as far as this game's concerned, West Virginia and UNC, again, I'm excited about it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a great test for the Mountaineers, who, as we know, in the non-conference slate last season, did themselves 0 favors, right? They played Wake Forest from the ACC and lost. They played Clemson from the ACC and lost. They played Xavier and lost. They played Ohio State and lost. All of those were on neutral site courts, right? West Virginia, every game that they had on a neutral court, they lost up until the college basketball crown, right? West Virginia's first game in Kansas City for the Big 12 tournament, they lost. They were 0-5 on neutral courts, and then finally reeled off 3 wins in a row at the college basketball crown to win that postseason tournament, and really helped to jumpstart what Ross Hodge has been able to do on the recruiting trail. I think it's been pretty cool to see what he's done. I will say one area that North Carolina might have an advantage, and it's kind of interesting. They might have an advantage in the sense that, this game is taking place the week of Thanksgiving. It's taking place on Black Friday, and obviously, to that point in the academic school year, West Virginia will come into that game having had a week off, right? Monday through Friday, they'll play on Friday, and those players most likely will have that whole week off for Thanksgiving, to where North Carolina, at that point, November 27th, you'd have to think that their players haven't even been in a classroom yet. So that would be one advantage because, as we know, those players aren't there for school. They're there to play basketball. And so they'll have an advantage in that regard because West Virginia players take their academics seriously. An advantage, or not an advantage, but another thing to note, as we'll close out this episode with this, it's other fan bases, other states, right? West Virginia can kind of get a bad reputation or, whatever for relations, and I'm not going into the details on that because I don't want to, because it's disgusting. And if you're participating in anything like that, it's disgusting. But West Virginia gets the state gets a bad rap for that. But I will say, at least our head football coach is not dating somebody who could be his granddaughter with the age difference there. So you want to take a shot at our state, look at what your head football coach is doing. I'm just saying, we'll close the episode out with that. Again, don't go in the comment section. This is just for fun, and I'm looking forward to this game. I'm excited it's set, and it's not revenge at all, but it's an opportunity to play a really good basketball program in UNC and get a signature win in the non-conference slate for West Virginia. We'll talk about it when it comes in 6.5 months, but it's on the calendar now. Mark your calendars. Get your tickets, man. Go to the Spectrum Center for the Dick Vitale tournament down there, or showcase, I guess I should say, and get your tickets to go support the Mountaineers in Charlotte at the Spectrum Center. Episode 227 of Mountaineer Moment is in the books. Next one coming, we're talking about that top 10 ranking for West Virginia with 24/7 Sports. What's it mean? What doesn't it mean? We'll talk about it next. Let's go Mountaineers.